It's being reported right now that Disney is in kind of the advanced stages of negotiation with Johnny Depp in regards to him returning to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise after he was notably fired from the franchise after his ex-wife Amber Heard accused him of being a domestic abuser. Come to find out during the defamation lawsuit against her that no, she was actually the abuser in the relationship. And since then, some people and some studios have been kind of apologizing to him, and Disney is kind of in a position right now where maybe they would have to eat a big piece of humble pie in order to bring him back. But it's something, if you look at their box office the last couple of years, they probably could afford to do that just this one time at the very least, because they kind of need some performance at the box office. A script is already in place. Johnny Depp is in advanced talks to set sail in Pirates of the Caribbean 6. Now, the whole script being in place thing isn't necessarily new. We heard about that back in December when a producer for the series, Jerry Bruckheimer, actually said back then that they had a script ready for Johnny Depp. And Jerry Bruckheimer, who is also a friend of Johnny Depp, has been trying to pitch it to him and get him more involved with the movie. And at that time, they said they had 2 scripts for the movie. And that's kind of reiterated in this article here, where they say that the 2 scripts, one is with Johnny Depp coming back as Captain Jack Sparrow and to make this another sequel to the franchise. And then the second script would basically just be a reboot of the franchise without Johnny Depp. So if he decides not to continue on with this, well, then they have a plan B option. But I think Disney is looking at their box office revenue these last couple of years and are thinking like, no, we really want to have Johnny Depp back, especially since it's speculated or even being reported now that the second script for a potential reboot was with Margot Robbie as the head of a captain of a crew of female pirates. And you just know if that actually transpired, then that movie would be a colossal failure, because not only would it not feel like a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, but a lot of people would basically just be saying like, okay, Disney's up to their old tricks, just doing a gender swap Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. No one wants that, even if Margot Robbie is somewhat noticeable. I don't think she actually has the star power in order to carry a series like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think she would probably be good in the role as a secondary character, but I don't think she can be a leading person in that, even with the success of Barbie. So Disney probably believes that as well. And that's why they're in these negotiations with Johnny Depp, because if they didn't feel, at least this is just my opinion, if they weren't desperate to have Johnny Depp come back to the franchise, then they wouldn't even bother with him. The fact that they're actually even trying to get him back to this franchise, I think suggests that they feel that they need to have him back in the franchise. Johnny Depp could be closer than ever to making a shocking comeback to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, according to a new report. Despite having been booted out of the Disney saga following his legal battles with ex-wife Amber Heard, Depp's slow but sure comeback could apparently be complete by returning to the role of Jack Sparrow for a 6th Pirates movie. According to Express, a deal to bring Depp back to Disney's Juggernaut Adventure franchise is very close, and the actor is in advanced talks to reprise his Jack Sparrow role. For many, this could be a hard thing to believe, considering the fallout of Disney's fall from grace and his adamant stance that, Depp's fall from grace and his adamant stance that he would never work with Disney again after the way they treated him during the time of his alleged wife beating and the numerous trials that followed. Yeah, I think Johnny Depp was even asked about that during his defamation suit against Amber Heard about whether he would return to Disney. And I forget what he said. It was something like for $1 million he wouldn't do it for $1 million alpacas. I'm not really sure what that is. I guess he likes alpacas, and he said he wouldn't do it for that. But I think everyone has a price, and if Disney was to bring him back, then they'd probably have to spend quite a bit for him to come back. And if you look at, again, coming back to their box office results these last few years, what they've been making, I think they're probably thinking it's something that they could afford to contend with, because just look at the box office results for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So out of the 5 films that have been made so far, in total, worldwide, it's grossed $4.5 billion. Now, mind you, they've spent quite a bit of money on these movies. The 4th movie, nearly $400 million, but it made over $1 billion at the global box office. Not sure what their marketing spend on it, but I think that's a they at least made their money back on that movie, all things considered. Or if they didn't make their money back, it was pretty close to that mark right there. But still successful. Got a sequel. Now the sequel didn't do as much, so that's the 5th film in the franchise, but it still did okay given the budget. And you can tell that they weren't really happy with the box office results for the 4th movie, which is why I'm thinking that the budget was significantly reduced for that last movie. But still, they reduced the budget. It didn't make as much money, but it was still successful. And Disney's probably looking at this and thinking like, all right, we've been struggling at the box office these last few years. Now imagine if we have a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. All those have seemed to do pretty well for us. And this time we're bringing Johnny Depp back in the role. People are going to love to see that. And, you know, in all honesty, even though I think this is a franchise where each movie isn't as good as the previous movie, so just kind of a steady decline in the quality of the movies, I think if they were to bring Johnny Depp back for a 6th movie, then that would be $1 billion movie right there, especially a summer release, which is, or I think they say in the article, it's looking at a spring release, and it's a spring of next year, which means if they are going to reach a deal with Johnny Depp, it would have to be pretty soon in order to actually have time to film it and do all the other post-production stuff. It says early Easter of 26. I think that like I was saying, like I think that's kind of a little bit ambitious to be able to get it out in that time frame. But if they are aiming for that time, then that would mean that they're in probably the final stages of negotiation with Johnny Depp, and they're already doing pre-production work on one of the 2, or probably both of the scripts right now. There's probably some things that can be done for both of them as far as the pre-production phase goes. And they just need to know which one they're going to shoot with before they can kind of move forward with that. And that's all just contingent on whether Johnny Depp wants to sign on or not. Following Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, or Salazar's Revenge, depending on where you live, the swashbuckling franchise seemed to be dead in the water after weak reviews and Depp's subsequent legal issues. However, in recent years, there have been several reports suggesting that, just like the Flying Dutchman, the Pirates franchise could be about to resurface in one of several ways. The 2 most likely options, which tie into the unnamed executives mentioned of 2 different scripts being considered, have previously been addressed by longtime franchise producer Jerry Bruckheimer, who has noted on several occasions that there are scripts out there for a complete reboot of the franchise, with Margot Robbie as the rumored lead and a Johnny Depp return in the direct 5th sequel. And that's the one I think that they should go with, and probably the one that they're wanting to go with at this time frame right now. Now, like I said, this news from Jerry Bruckheimer about having finished scripts for it, we heard about that last December. But one of the things that also came out about that, because I have this article pulled up December 24, December 4th of 24, so last December. This same thing was being reported that Jerry Bruckheimer was trying to kind of convince Johnny Depp to come back to the franchise. One of the things, though, that stuck out to me in this article was this portion right here. In 2023, Disney Studios motion picture production president Sean Bailey was asked about Depp's possible return for Pirates 6, noting that it was non-committal at this point. And Sean Bailey, who was responsible at the time for all the live action movies, would have been one of the people who had to authorize Johnny Depp for getting fired from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise after his ex-wife made those accusations against him. But one thing that's changed between the time of this article and now was last February, it was announced that Sean Bailey was out over there and he's been replaced. So I can understand, even though Jerry Bruckheimer is still producing the Pirates franchise, who, like I said, was a friend or is a friend of Johnny Depp's, maybe he's less inclined to go back there knowing that the boss who actually called or pretty much would have had to sign off on him getting fired is still with the company. But since they have a new sheriff in town, so to speak, it's possible that he's more inclined to actually come back. We'll just have to wait and see when it's all said and done. But like this article says, it's in the advanced talks for him coming back to the franchise. So I think it really is just a matter of whether he wants to or not. And I think Johnny Depp understands that how the box office has been treating Disney these last couple of years, and they would probably be coming back to him in an act of desperation. So he's probably willing to just call his shots, just saying like, okay, you have to pay me, I don't know, a huge amount of money, like what, $30 million, $40 million, something like that. Or maybe just like a percentage of the box office. And they're probably looking at it like, well, we spend this much money on it anyway. Last movie was $230 million. They're like, okay, let's say we're going to make this for $200 million and we'll give him a $40 million payday or whatever. That's probably enough to convince him to come back. And it's just a little bit more than what we spent on the last movie. And like I said, if they announced a Pirates of the Caribbean movie and Johnny Depp's the star of it, and it's actually a somewhat decent movie, then I can see that being $1 billion hit. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the coming weeks, if he actually does choose to sign on or not. Because if he doesn't, then they're going to have to start making the room for the next script that they have coming out, or the one that they have planned. And if they are trying to release it a year from now, well, then they need to get started quick. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think Johnny Depp should come back to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise? And if he did, do you think that movie would be successful? Or do you think Disney is just a tarnished brand at this point, and you think no matter what they do, even bringing Johnny Depp back, wouldn't be enough for them to have a successful box office? Comment below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.